Hello students, I am Samir Patil. Today we are going to start the second chapter of physics, which is mechanical properties of fluid. In this chapter we will discuss about the properties of fluid. So what is a fluid? Any substance which can flow is called as a fluid. So in fluid, liquids and gases both includes, as well as plasma, the fourth state of matter. So the substance which can flow is called as fluid. So what are the properties of an ideal fluid? The first property is that it is incompressible. That is, its density is constant. The second property is that its flow is irrotational. Means its flow is smooth and there are no turbulences in the flow. The term turbulences we have studied in 11th standard. The third property is that it is non-viscous, means there is no internal friction in the flow. The fluid has no viscosity. So that is, we are discussing about ideal fluid. So basically a ordinary fluid is having viscosity, but for ideal fluid we consider there is no viscosity, and that's why it is non-viscous. The fourth property is that its flow is steady. Means its velocity at each point is constant in time. That means its direction and the value is same all the way. Now for general idea of fluid, we discuss some properties. The first one is that they do not oppose deformation. They get permanently deformed when the force is applied on the fluid. The second property is that they have ability to flow. This is the basic property of fluid. They can flow. Third, they have ability to take the shape of the container in which we keep the fluid. So these are the basic properties of a fluid. When we study this diagram, which is given in the textbook, we apply shear stress. Shear stress is the quantity due to which the body undergoes change in its shape. In diagram, there is a cuboid which changes into parallelopiped when a tangential force is applied. There are two more diagrams, A and B. In first diagram, which represent compression or compressive, the force is applied on the body in all directions so that its volume decreases. In second figure B, the force is applied on the body such that it undergo expansion. It is called as a tensile. So these are the types of stress. Now we discuss about the fluids at rest. One important property of a fluid which is at the rest is the pressure. Basically, what is pressure? We students in 11th standard we studied pressure. So you know the definition of pressure, but still we remind that definition. The normal force F exerted by a fluid at rest per unit surface area of contact is called the pressure P of the fluid. And therefore the formula of pressure becomes, in this diagram, the force is applied on the vertical wall as well as force is applied at the horizontal wall of the container in which fluid is kept. And that's why the formula of pressure is force divided by area. And hence the SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square or Pascal. There are other units also. For example, 1 bar is equivalent to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. 1 hectopascal is equal to 100 Pascal. The dimensions of pressure is L raised to minus 1, M raised to 1, T raised to minus 2 that we derived in 11th standard in the first chapter. The pressure is a scalar quantity because it has no direction. We call it as a scalar quantity. Now we discuss about the pressure due to a liquid column. When a liquid column we consider in the diagram, we have liquid, say water, filled in a container, and we consider one imaginary cylinder having height h and cross-sectional area A at equilibrium. Okay, so this vessel is filled with a liquid. The liquid column exerts a force F, which is equal to mg, and it is nothing but its weight on the bottom of cylinder. This force acts in the downward direction. Therefore, the pressure P exerted by the liquid column on the bottom of cylinder is given by P is equal to F divided by A. We replace F with mg and substituting. Now we know that mass is the product of volume of cylinder and density of the liquid. Substituting this values, volume is A into H, and then symbol of density used is rho. Therefore, the M can be replaced as AH rho in above equation. So the equation now becomes P is equal to AH rho G divided by A. So the term A get cancelled and we have the term pressure is equal to H rho G. This is the formula for the pressure exerted by the liquid column. Now, some things about atmospheric pressure, absolute pressure and Gauss pressure. So Earth's atmosphere is made up of a fluid which is air. So air here we also call it as a fluid, and it exerts a downward force due to its weight. The pressure due to this force is called atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure at sea level is called normal atmospheric pressure. The density of air in the atmosphere decreases with increase in height and becomes negligible beyond a height of about 8 km. So that the height of air column producing atmospheric pressure at sea level can be taken to be 8 km. The region where gas pressure is less than atmospheric pressure is called as vacuum. So the perfect or absolute vacuum is when no matter, that is no atoms, no molecules are present. That state is called as a vacuum. Now we discuss about absolute pressure. For that we again consider the diagram. We have a tank filled with a water as shown in figure. Assume an imaginary cylinder of horizontal base area A and height x1 minus x2 is equal to h. x1 and x2 are the heights measured from a reference point. The height increasing upwards and hence x1 is greater than x2. The vertical force acting on the cylinder are the force F1 is acting in downward direction as shown in the diagram. It is due to the weight of the water column above the cylinder. The second force F2, it's act upward direction at the bottom surface of the cylinder, and it is due to the water below the cylinder. The gravitational force on the water enclosed in the cylinder is mg, where m is the mass of the water in the cylinder. As the water is in static equilibrium, the force on the cylinder are balanced. The balance of these forces in magnitude are written as F2 is equal to F1 plus mg. Because F2 is directed in upward direction and it is balanced by F1 and M2, both are in downward direction, and hence we have this equation. Now F1 is equal to P2 into A by the formula of pressure. Pressure is force upon area, and that's why force is pressure multiplied by area. So we get the two formulas for F1 and F2. Also, mass is the product of density and volume, that is rho multiplied by V. So M is rho multiplied by area multiplied by x1 minus x2, which is nothing but the height. Substituting this equation, we have P2A is equal to P1A plus rho Ag multiplied by x1 minus x2. Now A, that is area, is common on both sides, so we can cancel it. and the equation becomes P2 is equal to, it's actually P1 plus rho g x1 minus x2. If we substitute the values x1 is equal to 0, x2 is equal to minus h, P1 is equal to P0 and P2 is equal to P, then the formula becomes P is equal to P0 plus h rho g. So this is the final formula for the absolute pressure. P is equal to P0 plus h rho g. In this equation, the various terms involved are P is equal to absolute pressure, P0 is the atmospheric pressure, and the term h rho g is called as gauge pressure. So this gauge pressure is measured by the instrument. So in general, the difference between the absolute pressure and the atmospheric pressure is called as gauge pressure. So it is P minus P0. So if we discuss two cases, first at the depth D as shown in this diagram, at depth D, the pressure can be given by P minus P0 is equal to h rho g. So the gauge pressure at depth is nothing but P minus P0. Now the second case, which is atmospheric pressure at a distance d above the liquid surface, we consider again the second diagram in which we consider the height d above the liquid surface in air. So the formula now becomes P is equal to P0 minus d rho air. Rho air is the density of air, because now the medium above the water layer surface is air. So that's why the density of water is replaced by the density of air. And these are the two cases for the pressure. So today, in short, today we learn about the basic terms of pressure, the atmospheric pressure, formula for pressure, SI unit, dimension. We also derive the equation for the pressure due to a liquid column. Today, this is the short topic. We will come later with a second or continue topic. Thank you.